Well, good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again, and make your way over to jerichogreen.net via the Linktree link. This just in, there's breaking news. Has been a development in the case of the president's son, Hunter Biden. So apparently, this fool is going to plead guilty to 3 charges. 2 charges of not paying his taxes, totaling over $1 million, and then lying on the background check to purchase a weapon. This fool has been busy. He's gotten paid from companies he never worked for. He's brokered deals for his dad while his dad was the vice president. He's ignored his child, smoked crack, and fucked hookers. Man! So, of course, you're thinking to yourself, well, those are some serious charges. Hunter Biden's going to be doing the perp walk. He is going to be fitted for an orange jumpsuit immediately. These are very serious charges. Lying on a background check application, that's a federal charge. And being that the Democrats are the party of law enforcement, because remember, when Trump was brought in and indicted on those bullshit charges, Nancy Pelosi, the liver-spotted demon, she sits atop skyscrapers encased in concrete until nightfall, where she breaks free from her hard shell and wreaks havoc upon the residents of Washington, D.C. Right? She said that nobody is above the law. So if you're going to aim that righteous gun at Republicans, well, then you got to aim it at a Democrat or their offspring when they do something wrong. So you're going to see the full force of the Department of Justice coming down on the frail shoulders of Hunter Biden because of these Hold on. Producers in my ear, my bad. Yeah, man, what's up? Of course I'm in the... You always call me when I'm in the middle of a video or a live stream. What's up? How? He's pleading guilty to 3 charges. They're serious. Nothing. None once, not even 30 days. A weekend. Are you sure? All right, shit. Sorry about that, guys. You know how it does sometimes. He interrupts me, but he has important things to say usually, so that's why I take the call. Turns out Hunter Biden's looking at no jail time. This is a slap on the wrist. This is a slap on the wrist, but the hand that he's getting slapped with is wearing like snow gloves, you know, real soft ones with a lot of cushion. It don't even hurt. Just a little. Don't do that. Which is weird because there's evidence and there's serious crimes. And they've been talking all this shit. I know the corpse of Al Capone and Joe Louis are like, how? You know, Wesley Snipes is like, what the fuck? And many others who have gotten in trouble, who have lost their money, their possessions, and their freedom for not paying their taxes, which I think is bullshit. You should not go to jail or prison because you don't pay the government. That's some weird pimp shit. But there will be no jail time. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear anything about nepotism ever again. He's not facing any jail time. He's not facing any punishment because of who his dad is. And because of the crucial point that they're at in their plan to destroy America. You can't have Sloppy Joe fall apart now. You can't have the Justice Department doing their job now and putting that little crackhead motherfucker in jail. You can't do that. This is an important phase of their plan. They have to get Sloppy Joe in there for another 4 years. Now, of course, he will only be there physically because mentally he's gone. But they need his physical body at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue for another 4 years, so they will do whatever. And it's such a strange feeling to know that people like this are doing things wrong, to have the evidence. We've seen the evidence. We know the shit's true, but everybody else, all the powers that be and the people who are supposed to bring people like this to justice, they have blinders on. It's like when you're watching a movie and the main character is jumping up and down, hey, hey, don't you hear me? Don't you hear me? But the people that they're yelling at just totally ignore him. They don't see him. They don't hear him. It's very frustrating to that character, isn't it? They're jumping up and down and yelling and screaming and shaking the people's arm, and they just don't see him. It's like they're not even there. But you best believe if his last name was Trump, I don't even need to say it. I don't even need to say that shit. You know how it would go down. You know what would happen. You know how happy the left would be. They couldn't contain themselves on these news shows that they have. The CNNs and the MSNBCs of the world, and Hollywood and Twitter. Their little leftist pink lipstick would be out. Their little pink weenies would be hard. We might not have gotten him, but we got one of his kids. We got one of his offspring. We got somebody in his orbit. Meanwhile, you have Trump facing like 400 years in prison. No bullshit. Over 400 years he's facing in prison time for keeping some papers that he had the authority, the sole authority to say, yeah, I'm allowed to keep these. He was approached by the FBI that came to his house, inspected, said, hey, man, throw a lock on that bitch. He said, okay. 24 hours later, there's a lock on that bitch. And then you're raiding his house and you're bringing him up on these charges and he's being indicted. Now, they don't have the sweet and sour sniffles pandemic to hide Sloppy Joe behind. They can't stuff him in the basement and never have him hit the campaign trail. So they don't have a pandemic to hide behind. Did I say pandemic? I meant pandemic. Yeah, pandemic. If they don't have that to hide behind, they got to shove that old bastard out on stage. But that's just going to make them close ranks. They're going to have to protect him in different ways. Even though he's out in the open, they're still going to have to protect him. And in case you're wondering to yourself, how is this campaign for a second term at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue going to go for Sloppy Joe? Well, I would point you to his very first campaign stop where he was being introduced by John Fetterneck Fetterman, who couldn't get past the word infrastructure. Yes, you've seen the video. Sloppy Joe and Fetterman were on the same stage at the same time, and it was a verbal train wreck. So if you're wondering how it's going to go, there you go. You are going to see Sloppy Joe get worse and worse and worse as the campaign rolls along. You can see it already. Yeah, God save the Queen, man. Yeah, and if I didn't do that, I'd be sleeping alone. Oh, let me clarify. People don't know. My wife's a Philly girl. Verbatim. It's gonna get bad. This is the final proof you needed to know that the establishment, the machine, the media, and everything is behind Sloppy Joe, because on his own, he could not protect his dumbass son. So reinforcements have to come in and give him a slap on the wrist for 3 charges that you know damn good and well you and I wouldn't walk out of the police station. You owe the government over $1 million and you lied on your application for a background check? You think you're going home? You'd be going to the booty house. And you wouldn't get a slap on the wrist, you get a slap on the ass from your new cellmate. But of course, if you have the right bloodline in you, even though that blood is 50% crack cocaine, you'll be all right. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell, because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.